everybody, and welcome to Uprising 144K. I'm Hydrogen Man. Before I begin, guys, I am not giving you any medical advice. I'm certainly not making any medical claims. In fact, I'm just reading a testimonial of an email that I received. That's all I'm doing today. And what I can tell you is, before I begin again, this is not a medical claim. I have heard a lot of stories, and I've done videos about certain eye conditions before, whether it was macular degeneration, whether it was glaucoma. These are actually, some of these I've actually personally have seen, improving eye vision, and just other types of eye conditions. Now, I got this email and I actually found it quite interesting, so I thought I would share it with you guys. This is a testimonial. Obviously, again, no medical claims or anything. I'm literally just reading what this gentleman wrote. He says, "Hi, Greg." He says, "I wanted to share some information with you about my eyes." And then he said something, hopefully we can find a good time to catch up sometime because him and I have spoken on the phone before. Okay, he emailed me and says, "I have been using eyeglasses only for driving and playing tennis for over 30 years. That's a long time, guys. So he clearly needs to use his glasses for those things. And I remember him telling me that he has to use them for tennis. Absolutely. You can't play tennis without, running around hitting a ball. He said, "I had an eye exam last October and I purchased eyeglasses with the new prescription in January." Well, that's interesting. So he got tested in October, didn't get the prescription until January. "When I tried on the glasses, the vision in my right eye was so blurry, I was sure they used the wrong prescription." And by the way, before I move on, guys, don't forget to share and subscribe and get the video a thumbs up. It really helps the algorithm. More than anything, it helps people find this information because a lot of people don't know about this, and this is really important. Anyway, he says, "It turns out that my vision in my right eye had deteriorated, wow, between October and January. That's really too bad." And then he says, "And I noticed that I was having symptoms of AMD, which is basically macular degeneration. Including," he's naming the symptoms that he was having, "including wavy areas when I was reading. As I mentioned to you during a recent phone conversation, I began using an eye cup." Okay, so he was putting water in an eye cup and putting it in his eye. Guys, I have to tell you this. Again, this is my own personal opinion. There is no medical advice here. I would not do the eye cup with water unless you have the absolutely correct equipment for the proper kind of water and the proper kind of hydrogen. Why? I'm not kidding you. There are literally people out there, I'll give you one example, like the neti pots. People don't use distilled water and they run it through their sinuses, and people have literally killed themselves because you don't want to be running water that's not of the highest absolute purity, which they tell you distilled. I like to distill my own water, even compared to buying it from the store. You have to have the absolutely cleanest water because there is no water filter out there except for carbon distillation, which is what I personally use. I only recommend what I use, and I do a lot of research, and I'm a health nut. The carbon distiller appears to remove, it's the best way to clean the water, guys, removing all contaminants, but the biggest part is parasites, viruses, bacteria, crazy stuff out of the water, okay? I cannot emphasize this enough because I don't like anybody to watch my video and then try something and they hurt themselves. And on top of having this cleanest water, it has to be the right type of hydrogen. Definitely not things like Brown's gas, especially if they use lye to make the Brown's gas. This is not what you're going to be wanting to put in your eye, guys. I just have to tell you because the last thing I want to get is another email of somebody who's been harmed from using things like Brown's gas. It just happens too often and it saddens me. So don't use anything with chemicals. And remember, pure hydrogen. I know people sometimes say Brown's gas is better. There is zero evidence to support that. And you have to go with the data, and it's clear as day that the data is behind molecular hydrogen. So it's just, you have to make sure to do it the right way. Okay, beyond that, this guy has the right equipment. He has a Lourdes Hydrofix Premium, so he has, the best hydrogen there is, super clean. And he has the distiller, which he mentions here in a second. He says, "I began using the eye cup with hydrogen water in my right eye. That's when you suggested," so I told him about the distilled water and all that, and he was like, immediately he got his own carbon distiller. And he goes, "Since then, I have continued washing my right eye with the distilled hydrogen water." All right, so in my personal opinion, he's doing it the safest way possible. I think that's, again, super, super important. All right, moving on. He said, "About 2 weeks ago, I noticed that the wavy symptoms from the AMD had disappeared." Wow. Guys, that's a really big deal because doctors say that this is completely incurable, and I'm not making any claims. I'm just telling you, this is what doctors say, what the establishment says. It says, and comment below, by the way, if you guys want to comment on this. It not only does it help the algorithm, it's always nice to hear you guys' comments because I know if you like this information, you're finding it helpful. Anyway, he says, Within the last week or so, I noticed that I was able to drive without my glasses. Now that's another big deal because he said earlier, if I remember correctly, that he hadn't been able to do that for over 30 years. He said, today, for the first time in at least 30 years, this is so big, I played tennis without glasses. Wow. Well, let's see how well he did though. Hold on. He says, I played tennis without glasses. What if he said he played like crap? He said, and I played as well, if not better, wow, than I normally do. And see, glasses would be bothering me if I was playing tennis. So he's basically saying that he thinks he played just as good, if not better. Then he goes into a USTA rating. I think he's letting me know how good of a tennis player he is, which from what he's writing, he's a very solid player. And he says, I have never even considered playing tennis without glasses before. This is amazing, guys. I mean, we're talking an athlete. This is a big deal. You know what this could do for certain athletes? Anyway, let's see. I never considered, and he said, and I even keep a spare pair of glasses in my tennis bag just in case. So this is how important it is to him. And he says, me and my wife have no doubt that hydrogen is what improved my eyesight. Now, this is what he's saying. He said, I am scheduled for an eye exam actually Monday, and I am interested in seeing if the prescription is actually changed. I'm going to be interested too, as I've seen that happen quite a few times actually. And it's shocking to me because I never knew that hydrogen would do that. It wasn't something that I was particularly thinking until I got all these testimonials and then even saw it with my own father actually. And he says, prescription has changed. I am mildly nearsighted. My right eye needs, and then he's giving like 0.75 correction. He's giving the numbers about his prescription. My left eye needs this, that. Okay, he says, I just wanted to let you know of another successful hydrogen outcome. Isn't that beautiful, guys? He says, thank you for all your time. He's being really kind. Thanks for all your time that you invested in sharing your hydrogen experience and adventure with the world. I have no doubt that your videos have saved my vision. Guys, I don't know if you know how big of a deal that is, but losing your vision, which macular degeneration appears to eventually lead to that, would be extremely sad, especially for somebody who's had eyesight, the majority of their life, and you're just not used to not being able to see. So again, comment below, share the videos, support the channel. It's free. And I really, really appreciate it. I hope you guys found it helpful. If you did, as usual, comment below and let me know, and I'll see you guys next time on the next one.